and for many years lived in a crofting area above Dunoon. But my great-great-great-grandfather, who was a Gaelic speaker, lived in Aberdeen. And he went and joined the Connaught Rangers, which was an Irish regiment, and he did very well in the Iberian campaign and eventually at Waterloo and became a top military surgeon, in fact, the top military surgeon and Wellington's chief surgeon. So he came back and then made his living in London because he was a very good doctor. And so when it came to my father's turn, my father went straight from school into the war and he joined an English regiment. And his brother was killed in that English regiment at the Battle before Alamein. And then my father took us back to Scotland and he married my mother, who was Scottish. But my father always made me, he said, remember your roots are Scottish. Be proud as you like, but don't forget what Britain did for your family. And if we think about it, this weekend I went down to Bath. I have two elder daughters who live in Bath. Well, I was quite glad I didn't have to take my passport. And I'm also quite glad that they don't have to bring their passport when they come to see me. I have one who works in Bath, one who works in London. But they're not foreigners, and they love Scotland. They think of themselves as Scots. Before Scotland and England came together, our nations regularly tore lumps out of each other. It wasn't a very good thing. But only a few years after the Act of Union, Scotland transformed. And it was leading the developed world through the Enlightenment, and Scottish thinkers like Adam Smith and David Hume established systems of ideas that still underpin modern economics and philosophy. In 1740-something, Voltaire, the French philosopher, said, if you want to see civilization, you must go to Edinburgh. Now that was well after the Union. That was the Union that had caused that. And today, modern Scotland benefits from the best of both worlds. We've got a combination of a strong, accessible and open Scottish Parliament, and it deals with the domestic issues as health, education, housing, farming, transport, when sometimes we get it right like the A83, but not very often, recognising Scotland's different legal system, different education system, and Scotland's particular needs, hopefully. Well, as part of our United Kingdom, we have the security of the UK's defence capabilities and international standing also, of course, as membership of key global organisations like the UN Security Council and the G8. And we live in an interconnected, fast-moving, increasingly competitive world of advancing technology, new threats, new challenges emerging almost every week. And the idea that we should separate ourselves from our friends and family and the rest of the UK, which is by far our biggest market, just seems so bizarre to me and many other observers and people I've met all over the UK. Luckily, and most of the people who are back in Scotland, I might add, Scotland and the UK have achieved great things in the last 300 years, but our best days don't have to be behind us. They can be ahead of us if we renew our partnership and we go forward better together. And one last thing I'd like to say is I apologise for talking about my father. I know it may not be very wise in his present time.